Go ahead, raise your hand if you love a fairy tale ending. Mine's up nice and high here. Well, we were really close to the NFL version in San Francisco. Once upon a time, Mr. Irrelevant joined the 49ers. Brock Purdy then took over for the injured Jimmy Garoppolo and leads his team to just one game shy of the Super Bowl. Purdy, though, continues to play at a high level, making pennies on the dollar in salary quarterback terms. He defies the odds, remains the starter, and then this past May gets rewarded with a 5-year, $265 million contract. Great. But then enter the dragon or the witch, whatever you're really into. This season comes around, and Purdy has turf toe, right? An injury that's been bothering him really since week 1. Now he's been sidelined since week 5, which is when a guy named Mac Jones steps in, and Mac has balled, averaging nearly 3 points more per game than Purdy, and having the offense function at a higher clip, if we're being honest. This really throws a wrench, right, into that fairy tale ending for Brock Purdy. Just ask Cam, who discussed it on his show, 4th and 1.
I'm going to tell you what John Lynch and old Kyle Shanahan don't want.
What they want?
Quarterback controversy. Because, Brock, same way you got in, maybe the same way you go out.
Yeah.
You, John Lynch, general manager of the 49ers. Mac and Cheese go get him another good-looking win. Brock Purdy now is off the injured list. Where you going, GM Peg?
Man, I got to stick with the high hand, bro.
What?
Couldn't believe it. So it sounds like, Cam Newton, you believe there is a quarterback controversy brewing in San Francisco, and you think, regardless, they should go back to Brock Purdy. Am I right or wrong?
I think that's what the contract dictates them to do. When you're looking at 5 years, $265 million. $265 million. In my Stephen A. voice. $181 million of those dollars guaranteed. And that contract is through it's a lot of money. 2030 is what this contract is through. And I don't want to count pockets. But there's one little stanza in that contract that has me scratching my head. It's a no trade clause in there. Now, understand this. I know mac and cheese, but I don't know this mac and cheese. This mac and cheese has been playing at a high level that makes you start to think to yourself, like, where has this guy been? And you capable of this type of play? It's not even the type of play. He's been efficient at times and has been making plays that, I don't know, if somebody else could. But this is the thing, though. I don't want to make this more or less about the quarterback competition, more so than talking about Kyle Shanahan's brilliance as a coach. We've seen him get the best out of Jimmy G. We've seen him get the best out of Brock Purdy. And we've also seen him get the best out of mac and cheese. So I don't know if it's a quarterback controversy more than saying, do you stick with the hot hand? Because if you do come back and you don't have that same type of efficiency, I don't know.
Well, Cam, you said it right the first time. The contract dictates a certain thing. But let's think about fairy tales, since Shae brought up fairy tales. Do you guys remember which name was most closely linked to the San Francisco 49ers the year that Trey Lance was drafted? It was Mac Jones. And we all sat up here and we kept saying, ain't no way they gonna draft Mac Jones 3rd overall. And then Kyle Shanahan said as they got close, they overthought it, and Trey Lance's athleticism, after what they saw of Josh Allen, made them draft him. Could you imagine if that was Mac Jones? If Mac Jones had always played in this system? If Mac Jones had some of the pieces we've seen the Jimmy Garoppolos, some of the pieces we've seen the Brock Purdys have? Now, what you're doing is you're sitting back and you're thinking to yourself, if you're John Lynch and if you're Kyle Shanahan, that maybe we are better off with Mac Jones. So what is the decision on Brock Purdy's injury is my question. Do we have to see him at 100? Do we tell him, hey, continue to take the rest of the season to rehab so you can be just perfect for the start of next season? Because in my opinion, this isn't a decision that they're going to want to have to make until the offseason, because we cannot forget Brock Purdy brought this team to a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy was a Pro Bowler for this team. Brock Purdy became one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC for this team. And so there's a lot of recency bias going into Mac Jones. And I get it. He's playing well, but we can't forget how Brock Purdy went from Mr. Irrelevant to, especially in his bank account, relevant as hell playing for the San Francisco 49ers.
Brother made $50 million. $50 million. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you loud and clear on the dollars, okay? I mean, the dollars are the dollars. Mac Jones, you got to give credit where credit is due. Was moving and the way he was talking. What the hell you had in that mug? The way you was talking about Mac Jones right there, Cam. I'm wondering about you. I'm wondering about you there, right there with your podcast and all of that. But let me say this to you.
Overall,
Mac Jones is two sides. And I mean, when you look at the way he performed against the Rams, he threw for over 200 yards, had a couple of TDs with a banged up knee and missing Kittle, missing Purcell, missing Jennings. And he still went out there and performed lights out. So you got to give credit where credit is due. But let's understand something. There's a reason to believe in Brock Purdy. He did take him to a Super Bowl. He did save that franchise because when you look at what they were getting from the quarterback position prior to Brock Purdy elevating himself, I mean, you just can't say enough about the dude. Now, Shanahan is saying turf toes don't go away, usually in the same season. So certainly you'll keep an eye on it. And if it compromises his ability to perform in any way, then you could always go back to Mac Jones. But it's not like you can look at a Brock Purdy and say, okay, Mac Jones is flowing right now. We gonna keep you on the bench. You can't do that to Brock Purdy because you know you don't see things that Mac Jones is doing that Brock Purdy cannot do. That's not, he's not showing you that.
That's not. It never happens like that, though. And you notice, RC, nobody's going to say, hey, we're going to do it this way. There's going to be innuendos, and there's going to be kind of like, hold on, are you 100%? Yeah. We don't need you not to be 100%, Brock Purdy. Like, Mac Jones is playing good football, winnable football for us, so why rush back? That type of tone is really them speaking in code. Now, you take another team and you start to say, is Lamar Jackson really 100%? And I'm knocking on wood saying it, if you have a Patrick Mahomes or you have a Josh Allen gets hurt or gets injured in a way, you're going to need them back at 75% because their 75% is better than somebody else's 100%. What I'm saying is Brock Purdy is being treated delicately in a sense to say, if you're not 100%, you good. And while you're being good, that may be a red flag right there to just say, hold on. What's really going on here?
Well, let me say this to you. Right now, even with Mac Jones playing the way that he's playing, he ranks 15th in the NFL in QBR. Not only has Brock Purdy spent time as number one, in his career, he's never ranked lower than 7th. So what I'm saying to you is that whatever we're seeing from Mac Jones, there's no reason for Kyle Shanahan or anybody else to believe that you can't get that from Brock Purdy. And if you believe you can get the same, if not better, from Brock Purdy, and that's the dude you paying $53 million to. $53 million. $53 million. Okay, then you know what? We gonna see him. That's all I'm saying. $50 million.
The thing for Mac Jones is this, though. How much money he can make himself while being in San Francisco. I believe that he has another year on this contract. If I'm his agent, I'm trying to see where I could be traded to maximize what I was able to do this year, because Brock Purdy is going to be the starting quarterback when he's healthy enough to be that, but Mac Jones has shown the entire league that he could play high-level ball in this league. Quickly,
because I have to bump. A one-word answer. If, though, Mac Jones goes out and convincingly beats the Rams this weekend, does your opinion change? Convincingly beats the Rams, who a lot of you think can win and go to the Super Bowl.
No.
Does your opinion change?
No.
When you say $50 million.
So no. Sam, yes or no? Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are going to head to Los Angeles to face the Chargers Sunday night. Rodgers has the Steelers on top of the AFC North, throwing for 212 yards a game, 17 touchdowns so far this season. On the other side of the field, Chargers have won 3 of their last 4 games. Herbert, throwing for 266 yards a game, has 18 touchdowns so far this season. But if we're keeping it 100% real, we have not seen Justin Herbert prove to be that top tier quarterback yet. And so who do you trust more in this game? Justin Herbert or Aaron Rodgers, RC?
I trust Aaron Rodgers. and that's just keeping it a buck. If you look at Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, there isn't a game you point to and you go, yeah, that's on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has shown up in ways for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year that were unexpected. Being able to create in the pocket, improvisation, and pushing the football down the field, and finding ways to keep this team in games like the Cincinnati Bengals with big throws to Pat Freiermuth that the defense finds a way to go out and lose. And when you look at a guy like Justin Herbert, he still hasn't made every play that you need to make for us to have some sort of confidence in you, for us to have that trust in you. When we talked about early on in the year, through 3 games, I thought that Justin Herbert could be the MVP. I thought that Justin Herbert was walking on water, could be on top of the world. I said, okay, has he finally taken that step? And now, obviously, without Joe Alt and with Rashawn Slater being out for the period of time that he's fallen back to the pack. So when I look at the quarterback that I can trust, that I believe in the most important moments of these games, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, even with the lack of skill outside of DK Metcalf.
It's a tough one because I don't blame you for saying Aaron Rodgers. I just think that Justin Herbert, obviously younger, stronger at this stage in his career, is better. But in the same breath, again, the lack of protection is going to compromise him. I expect that to continue. T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith combined for 3 sacks and 2 fumbles, 2 forced fumbles last week. They showed up. I'm hoping something like that continues against the depleted offensive line in Los Angeles. It should continue. But when I look at Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers as the answer to this question, but not with any fervor, not with any strong degree of confidence, because he's averaging like 2.7 air yards per attempt.
Excuse me.
Crying out loud, which is the third. I'm just saying he is. He is. I mean, he's just dipping and dunking and all of that stuff most of the time, RC. Go ahead.
Stephen
what am I doing? What am I doing now, RC?
I have a question. As the patriarch of First Take, as the executive producer of First Take, is that a thing we get to do when we come on this show? We get to make decisions or choices without fervor. Like, we get to say without any excitement, without any convincing feelings that I make or this is my take. On the morning call, when they ask you the question and you give us one-word answers and then you rush us to move on, did you say this then or no? Because I got a problem with you giving a take with such lackluster attitude.
Well, let me say this. Number one, I don't believe in doing the show at 7:30 in the morning. Damn right I'm trying to get people off the phone. Damn right. You understand what I'm saying? I want to do it at 10 o'clock. I ain't trying to have a debate show at 7:30 in the morning. That's number one. Number two, to answer the question directly, it's First Take. Of course I do, baby. I'm Stephen A. Yeah, I get to do that. I get to sit up there. I don't have to do it at the same momentum with the same energy all the time, every time. I happen to have my reservations about the Steelers, period. But I am going to go with Aaron Rodgers with this particular question because he's minimized the mistakes. He's not making a bunch of them. And I think that he's got better protection. I would have loved to have seen him get another pass catcher to pair with DK Metcalf. I've said that. But they've spread the ball around. You got like 10 or 11 different dudes that have scored touchdown passes for them this year, okay? So I'm happy about that. I will go with Aaron Rodgers for this question, but I still find myself looking at them from a lot of times offensively, RC, wishing they were more than what they are.
Okay, so then let's take it one step further. We all think Aaron Rodgers, we trust more on Sunday night against the Chargers, but then who wins this game? Is it the Steelers or the Chargers? Different question. Cam?
You want to go, Cam?
Cam, go ahead.
You gonna ask me that way? I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one, but I'm gonna say the reason why. It's becoming abundantly clear that the anchor on the Pittsburgh Steelers is not the defense. It's not the quarterback. I've said it since week 1. It's the amenities that Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Once, we called him discount double check. He has shown that his play is still at a high level. And if it wasn't for the Velcro-esque route running from the receivers limiting separation, we may be mentioning him for the MVP. Hey, even at this age, Stephen A., you said younger, stronger, better for Justin Herbert? No, you don't agree with that, because one of the things that you know and I know, to RC's point, we've never, not one time this year, have pointed to Aaron Rodgers and said, bro, you lost this game because of you. If anything,
that's true.
We can say
that's true.
We've won games because of you, and it's not because of your arm. It has been because of your decision making and not putting the onus on the defense or the stress on the defense. And he knows that at his age. So when you start to really unpack really what's going on in Pittsburgh, the insufficiencies has been at the playmaking positions of the Steelers, nothing else, and that's why I would say the Los Angeles Chargers will win this game this week.
Cam, pull out your notebook. Pull out your notebook, because right now Stephen A. is disquieted and apathetic. And so I don't want him to answer this question, because when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, we already know he's going to be lukewarm, right? We already know he's going to be a little apprehensive. So let me give you the answer. The winner of this game is the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they have to be. Because Mike Tomlin is telling them during the week what we saw before the Indianapolis Colts is unacceptable. The way that this defense walked out on the field and walked off of the field against the Cincinnati Bengals cannot happen again. 20 straight completions for Jordan Love can't be a standard that we set. That is not the standard of the Steel Curtain. That is not the standard of the early 2000 Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And talking to Jalen Ramsey and talking to Cam Hayward, that's exactly how they feel. They understand they had to step up, and we watched it last week. And I believe that this week is going to be a continuation of that. And I reiterate all the points that Cam Newton made. Aaron Rodgers is playing winning football right now, and the rest of that locker room has to raise their play. We saw him do it last week, and I think this week is going to be consistent show of that 2 weeks in a row.
Who wins, Stephen A.?
So, well, I'm going to go with Steelers to win this game. I'm going to go with Steelers to win this game. I think that the Chargers have shown enough vulnerabilities for the Steelers to exploit. I think they will do it, and they will find a way to win this game. And I believe in Aaron Rodgers. I certainly didn't mean to imply that I don't. But when I look at Justin Herbert, I do consider Justin Herbert a stud. I do think that he's been compromised to some degree in terms of the lack of protection and what he's had to deal with. And I do think that on too many occasions he's found himself trying to play hero ball because he's trying to find a way to get something done. That's how he's been. We get that. Aaron Rodgers is making far better decisions, but he's always made great decisions as it pertains to him being at the quarterback position and minimizing the turnovers and what have you. Aaron Rodgers has always been that. We've talked about it for years, where he throw the football away rather than throwing interceptions. We were shocked when he was in the Jets uniform and he found himself throwing interceptions that he normally would never throw. So we get that part. We understand who Aaron Rodgers is, but I do think that Justin Herbert is a stud. He just doesn't have the personnel necessary in order to produce to the degree that he's capable of.
Shae, I have a question for you. In that new contract you got, what does it say on the line when Stephen A. Smith is indistinct?
It doesn't have any stars or asterisks either. I think I'm allowed to call him out on it, though. He said the Steelers are going to win. I'll give it to him, and I agree with you guys. I think Cam's drinking the Los Angeles Kool-Aid over there. I don't know. He's like, I like Aaron Rodgers, but I think the Chargers are going to win. Okay, you know on PTI they do like errors or omissions at the end. I think we have an error here on First Take because I guess we went back and checked the numbers. Unfortunately, the Steelers defense from 2006 to 2013 only had one game with 6 or more turnovers.
Bro, we didn't need to change that. Why we needed to fix it, though?
I didn't think we needed to bring it up either, but I think we always want to be right.
We needed accuracy.
We need to be right.
It only happened once.
I need to be right.
It only happened once.
So,
no.
Yeah.
But you're not.
He didn't bought the double down back.
I know.